normally doesn't necessarily translate because you do have a lot of starters out. There are some things, though, flashes from players, things that the quarterback does that you can say, all right, that looks pretty good. I thought both quarterbacks looked fantastic. I thought both of them, I'm not worried about either one of these quarterbacks having to go in, start, play significant snaps. You're going to be good. You're going to be fine. I think the thing now is you just got to pray to God, sweet baby Jesus above, that you can hold on to Garrett Nussmeier and that he will sit behind Jane Daniels one more year. And the next year, it is his show. And it could be his show for multiple seasons. That's what you kind of hope for. Both of them can play. I mean, what the criticisms that Jaden has gotten, weight, getting hurt, throwing the ball down the field, he looked sharp today, man. There's nothing else that you can say. There's nothing else that you can say other than he looked good. And for me, when I look at somebody like, Jaden Daniels, and I see the progression that he's made, and him going 10 of 11 today, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, 20 yards rushing, and not being able, and when he gets touched, he goes down. I'm okay with that. He took 2 sacks. One of them was from Harold Perkins. That it's Harold Perkins. I mean, what are we talking about here? And you want to have a good balance from both offense and defense. It was Todd. It's exactly how, if you ask any coach on planet Earth, it's exactly how they would draw it up. Jaden's first pass to Kyron Lacy that goes for 70 yards. Was the pass a little too high? Yeah, but when you give your receivers a chance, he comes down with that ball, he takes it to the house. I thought Kyron Lacy was a great surprise. Something that a lot of people have been asking about the entire offseason was, Blake, LSU's been really kind of pushing Kyron Lacy. And for what it's worth, he had a really good day. Breaking both of those tackles on that 70-yard run from Harold Perkins and getting into the end zone. It's not, we all know Harold Perkins is not a Rudy Poo, right? Like, he's going up against an elite one-day NFL dude. Busting the coverage, sitting where he sat in the one time LSU would have a miscommunication defensively, he goes up and gets it. And then he takes it to the house. That's what you want to see. You know, they start off in the red zone period. First pass to Malik Neighbors from Jane Daniels for a touchdown. But both times Jane led off the game, things just went well. We just talked about the 70-yard pass to Kyron Lacy from Jane Daniels. But then in the second drive for Jaden, there was a 3-yard run, an 8-yard pass to Brian Thomas Jr., a 16-yard pass to Malik Neighbors, then another 8-yard pass to Malik Neighbors. Chris Hilton Jr. would catch a quick slant for 5 yards. Jaden got sacked by Harold Perkins coming up the middle. Kane caught a pass for 5 yards and then a kick. Then you would go on down a little bit more to Jane Daniels and what he would do later on in the game, and his final drive that he had, which he only had 4, and his third drive or his fourth drive and last one, Jaden would get the 20-yard pass that would be a pass interference to Brian Thomas Jr. Kane would gain 2 yards. Jaden would run for 20 and get a first down. Parker would catch his first pass from Jane Daniels of the day, who he looked good. And then Jane Daniels would hit the 15-yard touchdown to Trey Holly for a TD. Garrett Nussmeier, when I will be honest, I did not chart Garrett a lot when he was with the twos. I didn't think it was beneficial for him for you to really judge what he was doing with the twos when you got guys out. When he came in with the ones, he threw a 40-yard bomb to Brian Thomas Jr., then a 2-yard catch from Brian Thomas Jr., which would wind up being a punt, I might add. The 70-yard touchdown to Landon Ibieta, getting the ball out to your playmakers, letting them play. Wiggins would get a sack, and then he'd punt. Garrett Nussmeier would go 5 for 8, 139 yards, 2 TDs. Nothing else you can say, man. Both of them, It's like the old adage says, iron sharpens iron, right? When iron sharpens iron, this is what you're going to see. And both young men looked really good. Can they translate that into the summer, have a massive summer workouts, go into the fall exactly how they've been doing? If they do that, guys, again, you sit in a position where, and you get a lot of your starters back, you sit in a position where, man, you might not be that bad. You probably are gearing up for a really good season. Defensively, Harold Perkins playing the inside, he was not bad, man, especially in the running game. He was not, and I know Brian Kelly said that they had a lot of offensive linemen out, but not their starters, they didn't. Emory Jones was in there. Miles Frazier was in there. Marlon Martinez, who I thought played really well today, was in there. And then you obviously have Will Campbell at your left tackle, along with Garrett Dellinger, who started for you at the beginning of the season, got hurt, but is still considered a starter. Did not look bad in the running game. Now, you don't have some of your running backs in there. I get that. Harold Perkins looked good. One guy that we have not talked about enough, and we're going to talk about him a lot this offseason. A guy that continues to blow me away at practice, a guy that the first time that we saw, the first spring practice that we the media were able to go out and watch, that night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I came on here and the first thing I said was Omar Speights. There was a call on 3rd and 4. It was Jaden's third drive. Okay. And why they wind up having a punt. Matt House calls an all-out blitz. Omar Speights, being the football guy that he is, a guy that knows just what he needs to do when he needs to do it, didn't come on the blitz, bailed out of it, and went into the flat to cover the running back because that's where Jaden Daniels was going to go. Elite. Guys, that's elite instincts. Very elite instincts. Now, the running game, if there's one thing that I did not like from LSU offensively, they couldn't get the running game going. I mean, a lot of spring games are like that, man. A lot of spring games are like that. Go pop in anybody's spring football game, and you will see that there's just not a lot of teams that are running the football down their own team's throat when it comes to a spring game. If there is a complaint, there were some things I saw in the running game I didn't like. Another thing that I put a big asterisk to in watching all of this, simply to me, is how the offensive line did in protection. Guys, I'm just telling you, the O-line did really freaking good in protection. Were there some pressures early? A little bit. Yeah. Was Jane trying to sit in the pocket? Yes. They made the right calls. They made the right decisions. They knew what guys to pick up, when to pick them up, and where to pick them up. All I needed to see. It was all that I needed to see. So from an offensive standpoint, you had some really big-time guys at wide receiver come and ball out. Another thing that I put an asterisk to, guys, you led the SEC in drops a season ago. I mean, you had a couple of misplay balls here and there. Name significant drops for me today. They look good, man. They look sharp. They look like what a team with an elite coach should look like in year 2. Say that again. This team looks like what they should look like when they are going to be really good under an elite head coach in year 2. And there are guys that we have not seen from yet. I still think that Lance Hurd's going to come in here and push for some playing time. We haven't seen Deshaun Womack. Just some dudes that were not out there today that we're going to see from upcoming in September that are going to be very impactful for you. Mason Smith didn't go today. Mekhi Wingo wasn't out there. So there are a lot of things for me that I take away and that I really like. that I really like offensively and defensively. I think that you saw a couple of young freshmen out there doing some good things, either redshirted or true midterm enrollees. The Whit Weeks pick six on Ricky Collins. Guys, that's really good. Batted the ball, caught it, and was fast and athletic enough to take it to the hizzy. Fast and athletic enough to take it to the house. And I just don't know if there's anything that you can say about how Weeks played. I thought he played good, significant snaps in the running game. I mean, he's got to get bigger. I mean, when they got his hands on him, you could tell he was getting pushed around a little bit. But him and LaTerrence Welsh, I thought played really good. You know, a guy that when we talk about defensive back, a guy that and candidly I have not mentioned has been LaTerrence Welsh. All I really needed to see from him today was when he was running stride for stride with Chris Hilton and had that pass breakup. Okay, so you got some wheels on you, kid. You got some wheels on you. You got some wheels on you. The one thing that I thought defensively that worried me at times was the tackling at the safety position and the coverage at the safety position. They're gonna have to figure. And Brian Kelly mentioned that in his post game. You know, sitting there listening to him, I was like, I wonder how. I literally told people that are with us at the studio today, I was like, I wonder how long it's going to take Brian Kelly to mention safeties. How long is it going to take for Brian Kelly to mention safeties? Guys, it took less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. So, like it, love it, or hate it, I think you just look good. You just overall looked good. I saw what I wanted to see. You know, when it was done at the end, I thought to myself, and I said, self, if you could have scripted a spring game, I don't know how you could have gotten it better than that, man. I don't know how you could have gotten it better than that. I mean, could you say maybe Nuss's first overall drive was suspect? Maybe. I mean, he missed the fade route to Hilton. He missed the slant to Hilton, and this is in the red zone. And then Nuss took a sack. Maybe. I mean, Jane Daniels came in, threw a TD. Ovi got a sack, which he looked really good today too. And it's not, again, guys, I mean, it's not as if Ovi was working against two Rudy Poos. Guys, he had a sack against Emory Jones. So he got a sack. Then there was a 1 yard run. Ovi would run down Noah Cain from behind. And then the slant was missed by Jaden Daniels. Pressure came up the middle, and he threw an absolute dart. The biggest throw for me today was not the bombs by Garrett Nussmeier. I think that you guys knew that. I knew that. The biggest thing for me was, remember when LSU went for the 2-point conversion and they converted it with Brian Thomas, and Jaden Daniels rolled out right and threw an absolute frozen rope to Brian Thomas in the back of the end zone, and Brian Thomas is sitting there just in the back of the end zone perfectly. I mean, ball is placed perfectly. It was placed perfectly. Perfect spiral, perfect dime. So if there is anything, that would be it for me. I thought Trey Holly did some good things. He's got to get better in pass protection, though. He's got to get better in pass protection. There's no question about that. He's got to get better in pass protection, because if he doesn't, then he's not gonna see significant playing time. Noah Cain looked good, and as Brian Kelly mentioned today, I agree with this. I agree with him. Noah, a lot of people sleeping on old Noah Cain. His pass pickups in just overall getting to guys like Harold Perkins. Guys, there was 4 times that I marked today where Harold Perkins came on a blitz and got stuffed by Noah Cain. Now, what do I think Harold Perkins was going all out completely? Not really. Not really. So, overall good. All right, I'll get to a couple of your comments here. Let's get to a couple of your comments here. Let me scroll up and start getting to some of them. Eric says, great game for LSU. So great. Oh, okay. That's not it. Ryan says McBride. What about him? Did he commit yet? I know he said he was going to commit. I didn't know if it was today, though. Maybe it was. I hadn't seen where he had committed yet. I don't think he committed yet. But I feel good about that one. I feel really good about that one. It's a massive steal for LSU. Penn Jones says, biggest idiot award goes to whoever called up with OU scoring system in their spring game. I didn't see it. I didn't see their spring game. Joe says, wide receivers look great. QBs look great. Trey Holly is going to be fantastic. Yet the only thing he's got to get better at is pass protection. Eric says, oh, the spring game was today. LOL. I never watched glorified scrimmages. Okay. Justin says, Chad, yeah, because a short shot doesn't need. Oh, God. Joey says, Ricky Collins did not look bad today. Yeah, he got. I mean, guys, he's playing with the third string, man. Like, what are we gonna say about that? Made a big freshman error with giving up the pick, but his running ability was well on display. Yeah, it was, and I'm surprised that I'm really surprised that Brian Kelly allowed him to be tackled. I mean, I will be open. I've never seen a spring scrimmage or really any scrimmage in a football setting outside of like high school when you play a scrimmage, but it's like against somebody else, that you see quarterbacks getting tackled. They let the man rip. Now, he made a – look, it's not that he just threw the pick, too. He threw the pick into triple coverage. You had Weeks coming up, from underneath. You had the safety that was over the top and the corner that was already covering. It's a horrible throw. But what do you expect? What do you expect from a freshman, guys? I mean, look how far Garrett Nussmeier has come as an example from where he was in his first spring game. Didn't he throw like 3 or 4 picks? He threw like 3 or 4 interceptions, and look at him now. I'm not worried about Ricky Collins. It's his first real live action against college athletes like this. I'm not worried about him at all. Not at all. You just got to hope and pray that both quarterbacks stay upright, because if they don't, you're in deep doo-doo. He's not ready. And there's nothing – look, there's nothing to be ashamed about for him. Nothing. He's just not ready. He's not even remotely ready. Okay? You get to him, you're in deep doo-doo. Zay says, just got here, but Welsh was strapping dudes up out there. Perkins was himself, and both the QBs played well. JD was efficient. Only one major underthrow, I think. Well, and the underthrow, I would rather him overthrow it, in which he did to Chris Hilton. Overthrow it. I don't want – I mean, hold on, back up. Excuse me. He did overthrow it. I'd rather him underthrow it, because at least your wide receiver could come back to the ball. But when you do that, you keep yourself up to chances to get picked off. Joey says, Anderson is out with an injury. I'd love to see him on kick return, but we did see a few kick returners and kids out there today. Yeah, Kyle Parker being one of them. Kyle Parker was the only freshman running with the ones. The only one. Didn't see Jaylen Brown out there. I mean, the kid is going to be something to be dealt with. I'm telling you. Kyle Parker is going to be something to be dealt with. There's nothing you could just see that kid. He's the best route runner on the team. That's not a debate. He is the best route runner on the team. The kid's a freshman. Wait till he puts it all together. Zay says the media is in love with Perkins. If there's a way for him to get to New York, he'll be there. Gonna have a massive year, though, from a linebacker's perspective. He's got to have a Monte Te'o, a Harold, a Ty Matthew. I mean, maybe Chase. Who was it? Chase Young. I didn't think Chase Young deserved to be there, to be honest. But that was just me. Kevin says, did the little speedy freshman receiver have a catch today? I did not. If you're talking about Brown, I do not believe that Brown had a catch. No, I do not. Now, could I be mistaken? Look, in the spring game. So listen, let me show you what this is, because this is the same notebook I've had since the Alabama game. This is this is like 6-7 pages. 7 pages of notes I write during the game. I write down every possession. Here's one page, front and back, that I have for the spring game. I'm just writing down notes. I'm not breaking down drives. I mean, I broke down all drives with the ones. I broke those down. I'm not breaking down drives with the twos. Not going to do it. Has no meaning, because if you want me to break down the drives with the twos, I guess ultimately we could. Garrett Nussmeier had all 3 incompletions on those drives. Jane Daniels started off the scrimmage 6 for 6 for 116 yards in the tutty. I'm just not going to break down them going with the twos. It makes no sense whatsoever. Both of these guys looked great with the ones. They're going to. I did not think that Garrett Nussmeier was ready last year. Now that we're out of the season and Garrett Nussmeier is ready to go now, admit it to yourself. He wasn't ready to go last season. He's ready to go now. I think, God willing, I hope this doesn't happen. If he hit the portal, he would start somewhere. I think that outside, for example, he went to Alabama, he's going to start there. He can't because of the SEC transfer rules, but he's going to start there. Right? No question about it. You got 2 legitimate dudes. Now, I want to just be cautious here. If either one of them start doing bad, don't give up on them. Like a lot of people wanted us to give up on Jaden last year. I'm not going to do that, man. I'm not going to do that. Could one of these guys, take the next step forward? You damn right. Jesse Jackson, the real Jesse Jackson on YouTube says, "Add Blake, how the tight ends look." Well, none of them really played. I mean, McGowan didn't look too bad. He had a few catches. He's an undersized, very undersized tight end. Very undersized tight end. Mac Markway didn't go, and I'm okay with that. I am 1,000% okay with that. I just think that you're in a position now when you have the quarterbacks that you do, the running backs that you have coming back. I thought the offensive line made the right pickups on those blitzes that House sent. I thought that the receivers who struggled with drops a season ago, you kind of have a addition or addition by subtraction with one receiver going into the draft. You've got Aaron Anderson that's coming in here, and you saw what Kyron Lacey, Brian Thomas Jr., and Malik Neighbors can do. And Kyle Parker's a guy that's going to rotate in there. Oh, and by the way, Shelton Sampson has not hit campus yet. Lance Hurd has not hit campus yet. Offensively, I think you're going to be better than good. I think LSU offensively, I've said this even before the spring game. Go look at any of the shows that we've done before the spring game. This isn't an overreaction. I think LSU's offense is going to be the best in the SEC. Who's it going to be? Who's Florida? Florida? Bama? Did you guys, any of you watch what's going on at quarterback at Bama? I mean, if Bama is, they're going to have to make adjustments. They're going to have to go in the portal, probably get a quarterback. Arkansas? Okay. Tennessee? Okay. We can have that debate. Georgia? Maybe. I mean, Georgia offensively was really good last year. Don't believe me? Go look it up statistically. They were top 5 total offense. I just think you're in a different position. And then when you get to guys like Omar Speights, who is a newcomer, the bailout that he had when he was supposed to come on that blitz, guys, it is NFL worthy. Brian Kelly said it as much in his post game. Like, that dude, he's just a dude, man. I am every time I watch Omar Speights play, I just continue to think about and think to myself, that guy might arguably be the best linebacker from the portal that we've gotten. He might just be. Instinctively, he's just on a different level. And then when you put that kind of knowledge on the field with a Harold Perkins, watch out. And you can call up anybody on that staff right now. Greg Penn was out today. Greg Penn's going to play. Greg Penn's been all over the field all spring. Greg Penn's going to play. All right, a couple more. Holden Lee says, man, I think Brian Thomas is due for a breakout. Well, can't drop passes. He didn't today. He looked good. And look, you could tell with both Nussmeier and Daniels that both of them feel more comfortable with him. And I think he feels more comfortable with them. The biggest play offensively to me, take out the 70-yard bomb and run. That's a massive play. I think the biggest play for me to see how a connection has been working was not that 70-yard pass and the one-handed catch by Kyron Lacey. It's the Brian Thomas two-point conversion. Brian Thomas is going in. Quarterback's rolling out. He scrambles out to help out his quarterback. Jane throws arguably one of the best throws I've seen him make at LSU, and the ball's here. It's impressive, dude.